Your medical doctor is actually similar to a police officer, meaning a police officer cannot come into your home unless they have probable cause. They can't. They're handcuffed. No pun intended. They're handcuffed. They can't just come in. A doctor, a medical doctor also needs probable cause to run certain labs on you and is handcuffed and cannot make recommendations to you. A medical doctor can't say, hey man, I think if you pick up a meditation practice, your blood pressure can go down. They can't do that. I've even heard colleagues say, well, I can't tell you that, but if we were in the parking lot, I could. So your medical doctor's handcuffed and regulated by a monopoly. So when you start to realize this, you can awaken to some freedom. At first, it might be a little scary to come to the realization that your medical doctor really can't help you. The new age medical doctors are not designed, the system doesn't allow them to help you unless you need urgent care. If you don't need urgent care, or you absolutely don't need insulin or blood pressure medicine, they can do nothing for you. It's just in your head because you've been programmed to think that. All you have to do is look through the last 30 years of television to know that. There's never not a doctor show on television, ever, or a police show. So we're constantly being programmed that we know our authority figures. What happens is, and I've seen this with my parents, that when you're trained, when you're programmed that the doctor is the authority, you end up in the rabbit hole of medications and surgeries. And then when you awaken to the fact of, oh my gosh, what have I done? And you come across someone like me, who's a holistic or natural doctor, then you go through a period of tug of war because you don't know who to believe. Because your programming is so thick. It's so thick, it's so strong. Well, the natural guy makes sense, but I'm still going to go to my medical doctor. And then when you get into this tug of war, you know, they say if your cholesterol is this high, you need medicine. We say, no, not really. You know, the triglycerides are more of the problem than the cholesterol, right? So it's just this tug of war, and it's like, but I thought cholesterol is, if it's high, we need medicine. And I'm like, no, but if you look, who sponsored the studies? Who told you that? The pharmaceutical companies told you that. Follow the money. And so what we have now is, in this medical monopoly, unfortunately, is a sick care system where medical doctors are drug dealers. If you ever studied the drug game, they'd be a corner boy. They're corner boys. And so the drug lord is putting the restrictions and the rules. They're setting the rules for the corner boys. Your doctor can't tell you that, you know, chamomile might help you. Can't do it. Against the rules. Handcuffed. Can't tell you anything nutrition because they're not trained in nutrition at all. And here's the interesting thing. To further the programming, some medical doctors learn nutrition on the side, and then they go rogue and they become YouTube stars. So now you watch a guy on YouTube who has an MD, and he's telling you, oh, I'm a heart surgeon. I've done 1 million heart surgeries, and I'm telling you, eat this food, don't eat that. That's it. And then in your mind, you're like, oh yeah, he's a doctor, I gotta listen. And so it just furthers the programming. Do you understand? Furthermore, doctors are handcuffs. They can't run labs on you unless they have probable cause. If you give me your symptoms and I say, you know, I think that your zinc and copper ratio might be off, or maybe you're low in selenium, I would challenge you. Go to your medical doctor and say, Doc, I think my ratio's off and I'm low in selenium. Can you please run a lab? I challenge you to do that. And then report back to me and let me know if they ran that lab.